What is going on, everybody? It is Alex coming back at you with another video, and today it is Mock Draft Monday, so you guys know exactly what time it is. It's a one-round, no trades mock draft. Would love for you guys who are new to join the community. We just reached 6,500 a very short time ago, and we are growing, so I would love for you guys to join the hype train. It's awesome because I get to talk to more of you guys, and you guys are just always supporting me, which is absolutely awesome. If you guys have not already done so, join the Discord, do stuff over there, like doing all 22 tape studies that you cannot do here on YouTube because it's illegal unless you own the rights to the footage, which I don't have hundreds of millions of dollars sitting around. So, or I don't want to get the entire channel taken down. Like some people take the risk to do that. But I just do it and offer it for free over there. No ads, no nothing. Over 600 people are over there, which is awesome. Feel free to join. Let's hop right into this, though. Starting off with the #1 overall pick. Again, Bears fans, chill. Remember, this video is a no trades mock draft. That's the whole entire point. It's like, hey, what happens if they cannot do a trade? It's very easy to get out of a situation saying, oh, you know what? Will Levis is on the board or CJ Stroud's on the board. Let's have a trade up here. But being stuck in a situation where you have to make a pick, you have to sometimes make a decision that you're uncomfortable with. And that's part of the point of this is you test out new ideas, you have a good time, and then you also don't have to worry about the value of trades. So again, we're going to be doing a trade mock draft most likely tomorrow, so feel free to come check that out as well. Starting off with the #1 overall pick, if the Bears cannot trade out of that #1 overall spot, we already know it's down to two different guys, Will Anderson and Jalen Carter. Will Anderson is still my #1 player in the draft. I think he is absolutely phenomenal. The next pick is going to be a late second, but this class is super deep at edge rushers, so I don't think it's necessary that you have to draft someone like Will Anderson because you're still going to get somebody who is a really good talent later on. I also know with guys like Travis Gibson, you guys have been able to get good value later on and develop talent on that defense. So I'd rather go after the highest ceiling player. And we see these guys coming out of Bama every single year. And we're seeing these generational edge rushers every single year. Now, can Will Anderson be a better version of Kayvon Thibodeau? Like I said, yes, he very well can be. But we don't really see anybody of the likes of Jalen Carter except for if he reaches potential, like guys like Aaron Donald. So that is a long-winded way of saying Jalen Carter is the best option because I trust the Bears to develop edge rushers, and I also trust them to develop interior guys. I think Jalen Carter is the highest ceiling. You take the guy with the highest ceiling at this spot. I do think that he does have that ability to at least warrant that generational talent label to him because of the fact that he really could be that special. Pick #2. It's Bryce Young or nothing. So CJ Stroud just declared like literally a couple minutes ago. So awesome. I do have a draft tracker up here, but that's probably just going to be used to reference it maybe later on. But, CJ came out, best decision for him. We'll talk about that probably the next pick. This is no doubt Will Anderson. I don't think there's much of a debate right there. Again, my #1 player in the class. You guys are going to have an issue with my board. I know that for a fact. Nobody's really seen Isaiah McGuire except the people on Discord. And most of the people who may have heard it from somebody else probably tried to slander me for how much I love him. And, that's perfectly fine. If you guys want to be mad at me for it, you're only doing yourself a disservice by not coming to the Discord and asking me to show you some tape on him. I'm more than willing to be proven wrong, but I also know that I've showed plenty of people this guy over and over again. And, the consensus is pretty obvious. This guy is the most underrated edge rusher in the class. And I'm here for it. But pick #4. I think this is a pretty straightforward one. If CJ Stroud is here, you take CJ Stroud. This is a good offensive line. You put in a guard spot, and Bernard Ryman continues to develop. I think you're perfectly fine. You have a good running back core. You also have some very solid receivers. And, maybe you could try to get Marvin Harrison Jr. next year and have him come to his pop's former team. That'd be a pretty cool fit. So I do think it's the best fit for CJ. He obviously waited to the last minute. I think that he was going to come out the whole time anyways. It was just probably to just build more hype on his brand, and that is perfectly fine. I have a ton of respect for them doing that anyway. But pick #5, if we cannot trade out, Seattle has to make the best value out of this pick. Now, could that be Brian Breezy? I don't think so. Brian Breezy has ungodly talent. I'll put it out there. He has ungodly talent, great block shedder, great pass rusher. But He doesn't know where the ball is, so it's not really, you're not going to affect the play if you don't know where the play is. You're pretty much going in blind, which not usually the best trait and very hard to develop in the NFL is like when you're going to a next level, also improving your IQ. And then his tackling is absolutely atrocious, over 30% missed tackle rate, not worth a top 5 pick. I have him, he'll probably end up in my 50s when all is said and done, just because if he's in the right system, he could be a really good player. But Myles Murphy is just super consistent. And maybe not as consistent as a pass rusher, but you know he's going to make an impact on the play. He's a very strong guy of 6'4", 275. He's just the best fit overall. And some people say go Will Levis. I just don't know if Will Levis is really going to be that much better than Geno in the short run. If Geno really sucks, you have a great, well, potentially great QB class next year, full of a bunch of guys who could be really awesome. So I would prefer to go after somebody who, you know Myles Murphy's going to do very well. Best run-stuffing edge defender I've ever seen. So definitely somebody where you at least know you have a very solid baseline for him in the run-stuffing department. So pick number 6. There's a couple routes you can go here. Yes, Brian Breezy, it feels like it's going to be the Holmes type of pick. But some people say Will Levis. I don't think you need a QB. I don't. I just don't see Will Levis being marginally that much better than Jared Goff. Jared Goff brought a team to a Super Bowl. He almost brought you guys to the playoffs. You guys swept the Packers. I think that's as much as you can really ask from him compared to what he was a year ago. So looking at guys, edge rusher, sure. James Houston's awesome. You can, of course, add some extra dudes to that rotation. I wouldn't do it here at this pick. Also, it's absolutely embarrassing at the fact that, one, I have to edit the draft order significantly because they can't just do that. But 2, they have players that returned almost a month ago. I think it's been a while, at least a couple weeks just on here. So, an organization I respect in PFF really does need to step their game up on that department. However, DB to me is always the position to go. I know some people are getting bored of the Joey Porter pick, but to me, he's the best DB in the class. And I don't know who's going to be there at pick 17 or pick 18 now, especially with the fact that I'm not trading out of these picks. Joey Porter's the best player in the class at his position, number 3 overall on my board. And some of you guys might be asking, why am I not going Isaiah McGuire? If I think that he's that good, why not go that route? I like to blend my board with other boards to give you guys a nice balance between realism as well as my own personal touch. I have stuff planned in the future where I'll be going exclusively off my board. That's true. But overall, I think that's perfectly fine to, wean a little bit away from my board, show you guys what I like, but also give you guys a draft that's very well balanced. So, in case you guys are wondering, I'm not afraid of using my board. I just like giving you guys the best content. Pick number 7 for the Raiders. Will Levis does not fit a McDaniels system. I am not going to screw over the Raiders nor Will Levis. I think Will Levis deserves a system that fits him a lot better. It's something that I personally would love to have. I would love for Will Levis to go into a system that really appreciates somebody who can throw the ball down the field. McDaniels has had a lot of success with distributors. Will Levis, that would just be a disgrace to his talent level. So other guys who I'd consider here, Tyree Wilson's extremely developmental. You have some really good mentors there, Max Crosby, as well as Chandler Jones. I don't think it's out of the question. Brian Breezy feels like a pick that's very realistic. I would say the fact that he was thinking about coming back, NFL is very low on him compared to where we are. I still think he's probably going to be a first-round pick, but maybe a little bit later. So we have that. Corner to me, when you have someone of the talent level, Keely Ringo, and I watched the Ohio State game over again, and honestly, he did not get cooked as badly as I've given him shit for, as well as many other people. Keely has definitely stepped his game up over the year, and he is clutch in very big moments. But Christian Gonzalez, man, I saw him, he had a contested ball, which of course in college always goes to the receiver, but he jumped over the receiver to catch the ball, and it was just, his hands are incredible. I have him a little bit down on my board, but my God, is his talent certainly undeniable. And if you can mold him into a more consistent DB, where he doesn't get burnt by BYU receivers. To be fair, Puka Nacua is a beast. But you're going to get someone who's a true star. And that, to me, is worth its weight in gold. So Christian Gonzalez going over there. That's why you trade for Trayvon Mullen in the first place, was trying to get some extra DB help in there. I think he could be a really special player for you. Pick number 8 for the Falcons. Another spot where it's like, I mean, you might as well just go after someone like Tyree Wilson. Edge rusher needs to be the priority. Again, if you're going exclusively off my board, I think Isaiah McGuire would be a great fit. But I think there's plenty of really good players and really good options here. So you can't go wrong with this pick. Could you go after someone like Levis? I wouldn't shame you for it. But at the same time, how much better are they than Spencer? Well, I'm about to say Spencer Rattler, but Desmond Ridder. I have him graded significantly better than I did Desmond. However, I think Tyree Wilson just brings the instant upgrade in the run stuffing, but also he's had production as a pass rusher, and you have a very polished guy in Arnold Ebiketie there. I love the potential of Tyree Wilson on this squad. It's the strength of this class. It really is going Tyree Wilson. Pick number 9. So, again, some people are trying to say, let's go Will Levis. I would probably try Matt Corral out for a year or a free agent quarterback before I do that. Yes, Will Levis has a lot of potential. And if I'm sitting here and Will Levis is on the board, I'm going to try to trade out with a team that might want him. You could see a team, like technically the Jets could be in the market for it. Of course, the Titans could be in the market for it. I mean, looking at other teams that could be, the Buccaneers, you can make a monster trade in division if you really don't believe in Levis to be able to, get some good capital out of it. But I'm not going to go Will. I'm not. I don't think he fits. Well, to be fair, we don't even know who the damn OC is. But we'll see if he's a fit. If they bring in an OC and I feel confident in it, maybe I'll go Will Levis. Maybe I will. But I am not going to do that just yet. I think going after an edge rusher or a defensive back is probably the best move. And Kelee Ringo is here. His athleticism is going to be unmatched. To me, I just really like defensive back is one of the most valuable positions in football. And being able to get someone who's hyper athletic, we've seen with Tariq Woolen this year. Tariq Woolen was worse than Kelee Ringo in my eyes. And I really liked Tariq Woolen. I had a second round grade on him. Very happy to say that. But Ringo has that 6'2" frame. He's going to be running in the 4.3s. Like, he is a very special talent athletically, and he has had some great reps. He has unbelievable vertical ability, and he has some great hands as well. This is a guy, again, you're going to say, oh, look at our corner core. We have J.C. Horn. We also have C.J. Henderson, Dante Jackson. Like, Dante's never available, to be fair. I love J.C. Horn. And C.J. has just not been enough. So getting someone like Kelee Ringo to lock down in a division, especially if Tom Brady leaves, you're going to get pick after pick after pick after pick. There's like no quarterbacks in this division. Like Derek Carr could end up being like a Saints QB, then you have something to talk about, but he's going to be a special player for you. Pick number 10 for the Eagles. I kind of screwed myself over because I love going Kelee Ringo to them, but I would be very intrigued. This is something that we posed in the Discord. Trading back, like in a trades mock, trading back with the Eagles and drafting offensive linemen. Like Peter Skoronski does feel like someone who could play that guard spot immediately and then move to tackle. I'm worried. I watched, like, for one, arm length doesn't really matter if you use it properly, but Peter Skoronski literally looks like a damn T-Rex out there. You look at his arms, I'm like, my God, he has uber short arms. And they're over an inch shorter than Rashawn Slater's, if I'm not mistaken. And here's the issue with that. I'm going to explain it because a lot of people are saying, oh, well, it's just a number. And, sometimes it is. But he never makes first contact with any defender. You never see it unless the defender is complete booty cheeks. But in the NFL, if you are going to be trying to block a Kayvon Thibodeau who is excellent at using his length, he's going to control that engagement the whole time. You need an offensive lineman that can control the engagement. He's going to probably be a guard when all is said and done. I'm going to want someone who could be a right tackle or a left. So I'm now looking at Anton Harrison and Darnell Wright. I think Darnell Wright has the highest potential in the entire class out of every single tackle here. It just popped out to me. Unbelievable athleticism. The mistakes are easily coachable. He looks like Penei Sewell out there. I'm going to be honest. Not as good as Penei, but he reminds me a lot of him. But if we're not trading out of the spot, I'm not going to tackle. I need to depose that idea. I'm looking at edge rusher here. And you have some incredible talents on the board. Like, again, I want to show some respect for the guys who should be going higher. BJ Ojulari, he's a great player. It's a tough spot. You could, of course, go a defensive back. And with how fast I've already taken all the DBs, let's just go after someone like Cam Smith, who's going to be a very nice lockdown corner. I feel like he is in the mold of Darius Slay, but I have to bring up that tackle spot because you already know how he likes to trade back, but also how he likes his offensive lineman. So Cam Smith's going to be the pick if we cannot move. Pick number 11. So again, Titans, I'm looking heavily at Will Levis here. Peter Skoronski is another great pick. Quentin Johnston's another great pick. Quarterback is as thin as offensive tackle in this class. I'm going to make sure that I am going to get my franchise guy. Malik Willis just doesn't look like the option. If you can't get a free agent QB, go after someone who has a lot of potential to be your leader. Pick number 12. It's Skoronski or Johnston, and I'm not going to try to get a guy again who's going to be probably a guard. To me, I want to get an X-build wide receiver. Was he shut down versus Georgia? Yes. But the whole entire defense was looking at damn Quentin Johnston the whole game. They schemed towards Quentin Johnston. So it's pretty natural that Quentin Johnston couldn't do jack. And then his quarterback was out of his depth. So that is perfectly understandable. I still think he is a well-deserving of that first quarterback or first wide receiver off the board. Pick number 13 for the Jets. I'm going for a pick that I haven't done for them in a long time. That is Darnell Wright. He has he's done a very good job at both left tackle and right. He's played those positions for a year or more each. And the thing about Darnell Wright, he's coming off playing right tackle. So you already know he's going to have an instant fit there at right. He can have an instant fit at left if need be. But I just think he has the most potential out of the tackles in the class because of the fact that, he has the size, he has the build. He is just perfectly built for it. Pick number 14 for the Patriots. Peter Skoronski would be a really cool guy for this team. I would again look at, you could look at DB as well. I think that'd be pretty awesome to go Brian Branch, but I want to go after a versatile offensive tackle. Broderick Jones could be the best in the class, but I've just seen Anton Harrison flourish. Maybe he's going to go away from the Georgia tackle realm, and I always go offensive lineman for them anyways. I'm testing out some cool ideas and actually going off of my tackle board here. Both these guys have played games at left and right tackle. Darnell Wright's played a year at right tackle, so I think that versatility is coveted for sure, especially with Trenton Brown potentially going to be like bye-bye as well. You have a guy who can be a good stopgap guy there. Pick number 15. Peter Skoronski is still on the board. This team could definitely use a player like Peter Skoronski, but I just feel like Brian Branch is that type of dude who has the extreme versatility you're looking for to replace Adrian Amos, and also the safety class is razor thin. Pick number 16 for Washington. Peter Skoronski is my ideal pick for them. Someone who can potentially play tackle, but someone who's going to be playing guard in the short run anyway. So I think that's a great spot for them to go. The Steelers, I would love to trade Deontay Johnson and then be able to maybe get, some like one pick in here. Like maybe you could trade Deontay Johnson and a third round pick for this pick 12. And then you could pick up Jordan Addison here at pick 17 and then get someone like Darnell Wright maybe there at number 12. But if you cannot take a wide receiver, or if you cannot trade away one wide receiver, I'm not going to neglect the offensive line like that. And you still have guys like Broderick Jones here who are very, very good players. So I'm going to go Broderick Jones over Paris Johnson. I still don't like Paris Johnson that much. Rewatched him again. Just not that big of a fan. Pick number 18 for the Lions. Brian Breezy's here. You take Brian Breezy. Simple as that. Thin defensive interior class. You don't really have that many other holes that I'm that scared about. And you're good at picking linebacker value down the board. And there's some good second round guys. Versus defensive interior, not so much. Pick number 19. So this spot, Jordan Addison's still on the board. That just sucks, man. He's such a good player. Deserves more respect than I even give him. This spot, you could definitely look at a cornerback. A defensive back is never a bad decision at this point. Like you could go after someone like Jalen Jones to be that bigger guy, Devon Witherspoon. But let's just go back to it. Let's go Anthony Richardson. They're sticking to the Florida QBs. At the end of the day, you have to continue trying to take shots until you get the right guy. And it's pretty obvious that Kyle Trask just probably isn't the right guy. Pick number 20 for the Seahawks. Jordan Addison's still on the board. Kind of sucks. Really like Jordan Addison. I can see Paris Johnson being moved to guard here, but he is 6'6". That's the issue. He played right guard there for a while. Trenton Simpson would be a really fun option for this team. Again, like it just feels like rinse, wash, repeat. Let's look at some other options, though, that I would consider. Osiris Torrance definitely feels like somebody who could be on Pete Carroll's short list of guys to get. Michael Mayer, I've heard some things about. I wouldn't personally go that route. Again, Paris Johnson would be really fun as that guard tackle hybrid, but I think you just got to go with someone like Trenton Simpson. You're also having instant chemistry there with his buddy Myles Murphy. He's the highest ceiling linebacker in the class, but he's linebacker 3 for me right at the moment, just because I think 2 other guys are just a little bit more higher floor. But Pete Carroll, I totally trust to be able to develop somebody into a higher version of themselves. Pick number 21. So this is Jordan Addison, no doubt. I'm not even thinking about it. I don't care who else is on the board. If Jordan Addison's there, I'm taking him. Pick number 22 for the Ravens. Whew. Again, another team that doesn't need much. You could look at Jalen Jones. You could look at Devon Witherspoon. I think Devon, he left only like 9 yards this year in press. Definitely fits what the Ravens are going to be all about. Getting your hands on the guy, being able to have great ball skills, does feel like a Ravens type of player. You already secured that linebacking room with that big-ass contract to Roquan Smith. A quarterback, God only knows, but this ain't the class to take somebody, and I'll tell you that for sure. But wide receiver, definitely, again, you have guys like Jack Smith and Jigba here. I can't pass on somebody like that when, you are trying to show Lamar that you're all in on him without paying him a fully guaranteed contract. It just feels like the right thing to do. So I do apologize in case it does get a little wishy-washy there. Pick number 23 for the Vikings. Man, this team, the fact that you guys lost to the Giants kind of hurts me, but you are in position to be able to nab a corner like Jalen Jones, Devon Witherspoon. I think that's your best return on your investment. So, again, you pick whichever one you want. I'm going to change it up a little bit and go Jalen Jones for this team just because I have him as my number 7 player in the class. I'll scroll down so you guys get to see a little bit more of my overall board. Pick number 24. So, Jaguars, I like this idea of Michael Mayer on the squad, but at the same time, I really do like Paris Johnson. I took him in my last mock draft, though, so I kind of want to wean away from that. So let's look at other options, because I'm not seeing very many other ones that I'd be necessarily intrigued with. Like, you could totally go Clark Phillips here to be that slot and have Darius Williams as the boundary. It's tough to say that you're going to go after a slot in the first round, but Clark Phillips is really that good. So I want to give Clark the respect he deserves. Let me know what you think about that value. Of course, in a situation where I could trade back, I would trade back and still get Clark Phillips. But I think it's just the best way to go because, you could, of course, get guard at another point as well. That's probably the best thing you could do, but I wanted to change it up a little bit. Pick number 25. Michael Mayer might be the best option here. You go Paris Johnson to get somebody who could play the inside or outside as well. Bijan's still on the board. Just is what happens when we start doing this stuff. But, team's going to trade up for Bijan. They're going to think he's really special, and he is a very special player. But for me, I'm looking at guys like Devon Witherspoon. I do love his fit on this team at this point. Again, there's no all-22 out on him, so my decision on him is not official. So just waiting for that to come out because I'm not going to tell you guys that I have a solidified opinion on a player when I don't. Because out of respect for you guys and all the people who you have been watching don't have all 22 on him except PFF, maybe Brett Coleman and ESPN. Like, we haven't watched the full reps of Devon Witherspoon. You don't see him at the top of the route, how he handles it. But, to be fair, I think he is going to get a lot of hype. This is a good spot for him to go. Adding some defensive weapons to Wink Martindale's system is great because obviously I was considering him here at 22. Makes sense for me to consider him here as well. Cowboys, Paris Johnson is still on the board. I'm going to take him and say, hey, you can play guard or tackle for me. I just think that's the best value. Pick number 27. Did we take all the tackles already? I think we did. We did. Javon Foster did say that he was returning today. So, Jim Nagy's squad was correct in that regard. You could look at Bijan here, of course. I think it's a very sneaky need for the team. But if Michael Mayer's on the board, you are down enough in the round where you're probably not going to be in position to get a high-end tight end next round. So getting somebody of the domination style of Michael Mayer, it's just a good way to add a little bit of extra spice to your team. Pick number 28 for the Broncos. Again, no trades, so we cannot trade out of this. B.J. Ojolari is a really fun guy. You could, of course, look at a DB like Garrett Williams to be someone who could come in and assist. Offensive line, just not great options. But I do want to look at somebody of the talent level, Andrew Voorhees. I don't believe I've moved him down my board necessarily just yet. I'm trying to see where he is. Yeah, he's at 20 right now. He's going to be moving down a little bit, but a solidified veteran, and he's just a safe pick. To me, that's totally worth it. He just lunges forward a little bit too much, and that's an issue for me. But again, that's very coachable and something that could definitely be tweaked out of his game. So keep an eye out for that. Bills at pick number 29. If Bijan's here, you got to go Bijan. I'm happy to say I'm not going Antonio Johnson. That's a plus. So pick number 30, you still got to go. If you're going to go defensive end, you're going to have to go after someone who's 265 plus. That's just the spag way to go. And Andre Carr's a good fit. I'm going to pull for my boy here. I'm going to pull for my number 2 player in the draft. I think he's going to rise up draft boards when he goes to Mobile. He's just somebody who absolutely dominates and there's no eyes on him. Definitely somebody where like you guys are going to watch him and be like, why is no one talking about this guy? He is that type of player. Pick number 31 for the Eagles. Osiris Torrance could be a pick that you guys do look at. This guy who could be a high upside guard to be able to replace Isaac Suamalu. Wow. English is tough. But at pick number 31, I think CJ is going to be re-signed. There's no need to go after that route. We're going to go after edge. We are. I wish Jared Verse were still on the board, but if you guys are looking at Jared Verse, I'm going to show some love to my number 9 player in the draft, BJ Ojolari. So I'm going to scroll down so you guys get to have a quick little recap at the end there. But thank you guys so much for watching. Feel free to give your comments down below. Would love to learn from you guys. See you on the far side. Peace.